Your life is not a democracy. You are not here to win a popularity contest. You are here to live your life, to fulfill your potential, and to leave your unique mark on this world. In all my years of studying successful people, I have never once heard someone say, "You know what? I achieved all my dreams because I was really good at worrying about other people's opinions." No, sir. The people who make a difference, who change the world, who find true happiness, they are the ones who learn to tune out the noise and listen to their own inner voice. But I can hear some of you thinking, that's easier said than done. And you are right, it is. But let me ask you this, what's the alternative? Living a life dictated by the fleeting opinions of others? Letting your dreams gather dust on the shelf because you are afraid of what your neighbor might say? That's not living. That's existing. Now, I'm not saying we should all become inconsiderate jerks. Kindness and respect for others are crucial. But there's a world of difference between being kind and being a people pleaser. One comes from a place of strength, the other from a place of fear. Let's break this down. Why do we care so much about what others think? It's rooted in our deep-seated need for acceptance and belonging. Back in our caveman days, being accepted by the tribe meant survival. If the tribe didn't like you, you were out on your own, facing saber-toothed tigers with nothing but your wits and a pointy stick. Not a great situation. But here's the thing. We are not cavemen anymore. The stakes have changed. In today's world, the real danger isn't being eaten by a tiger. It's living a life that's not true to who you are. It's reaching the end of your days and realizing you spent your precious time on this earth trying to live up to someone else's expectations. I want you to think about something for a moment. Think about the people whose opinions you are so worried about. Are they living the life of their dreams? Are they changing the world? Are they even truly happy? Chances are, they are just as caught up in worrying about what others think as you are. It's a vicious cycle, and it's time to break free. Now, I'm not saying this is easy. Breaking free from the need for constant approval is like breaking any other habit. It takes time, it takes effort, and yes, it can be uncomfortable. But let me tell you, the discomfort of growth is far better than the pain of regret. So how do we do this? How do we stop caring what others think and start living authentically? Well, I've got a few strategies for you. First, get clear on your values. I mean, really clear what matters to you, what you stand for, what kind of person do you want to be. When you are rock solid on your values, other people's opinions start to matter a whole lot less. Second, practice self-acceptance. You are who you are. You've got strengths, you've got weaknesses, you've got quirks that make you uniquely you. Embrace them, love them. There's no one else quite like you in this entire world. And that's not just a feel-good statement, it's a scientific fact. Surround yourself with supportive people. You know the saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with? It's true. If you are constantly around people who judge you, who try to clip your wings, it's time to find a new flaw. Nothing builds confidence like action. Start small if you need to. Maybe it's wearing that outfit you love, but we're always afraid to wear in public. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting when you'd usually stay quiet. Whatever it is, do it. Then do it again and again. Each time you will care a little less about what others might think. Remember that most people aren't thinking about you nearly as much as you think they are. We all have this tendency to think we are the center of everyone else's world. But the truth is, everyone else is too busy worrying about their own lives to spend much time judging yours. Now, let me tell you a story. There was once a young man who had a passion for painting, but every time he picked up a brush, he heard the voices of doubt. His parents telling him art wasn't a real job. His friends laughing at his dreams of being an artist. His teachers encouraging him to pursue something more practical. For years, he listened to these voices. He got a sensible job, lived a sensible life, but he was miserable. Every day felt like he was living someone else's life. Then one day, he saw an old man sitting in the park painting. The old man's hands were gnarled with arthritis, but his eyes sparkled with joy as he created. The young man watched for a while, then finally worked up the courage to speak to the old painter. "Aren't you worried about what people think?" the young man asked. "About wasting your time on art at your age?" The old man chuckled. "Son," he said, "I spent the first 60 years of my life worrying about what other people thought. Then I realized something. Those people, they weren't living my life. They weren't the ones who had to live with my choices, my regrets. So I decided to stop caring what they thought and start living for me. And you know what? These last 20 years have been the happiest of my life." That conversation changed everything for the young man. He quit his job, picked up his brushes, and never looked back. Today, he's a successful artist, not because he's the most talented, but because he's true to himself. He's living his passion without fear of judgment. Now, I'm not saying you need to quit your job and become an artist, but I am saying you need to start living your truth, whatever that may be. Life is short. It's beautiful. It's precious, and it's far too short to spend it trying to live up to other people's expectations. You have got one shot at this life, one shot to make it count, to leave your mark, to fulfill your potential. Don't waste it worrying about what others think. Don't let fear of judgment hold you back from your dreams. Don't let the opinions of others drown out the whispers of your own heart. You see, at the end of the day, there's only one opinion that truly matters: your own. When you lay your head down at night, when you look in the mirror, when you are alone with your thoughts, are you proud of the person you see? Are you living a life that's true to who you are? That's what counts. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but what about my job? What about my relationships? Won't I alienate people if I stop caring what they think? Let me clear something up. Stopping caring about what others think doesn't mean being rude or inconsiderate. It doesn't mean ignoring all feedback or living in a bubble. It means filtering the noise. It means understanding the difference between constructive criticism and baseless judgment. It means valuing your own opinion of yourself above the opinions of others. In your job, focus on doing good work, on adding value, on being someone of integrity. That's what truly matters, not whether your coworker likes your new haircut or thinks your idea is too out there. In your relationships, surround yourself with people who appreciate the real you, who encourage you to grow, who support your dreams, who love you not despite your quirks, but because of them. Those are the relationships worth investing in. When you start living authentically, when you stop trying to please everyone, you will find that the right people are drawn to you. You will form deeper, more meaningful connections, because there's nothing more attractive than someone who's comfortable in their own skin. In today's world, it's easier than ever to get caught up in what others think. We are constantly bombarded with carefully curated images of other people's lives. It's easy to fall into the trap of comparison, to feel like we are not measuring up. But remember this, social media is a highlight reel, not reality. Nobody posts about the boring Tuesday when nothing happened. Nobody shares their moments of self-doubt, their failures, their struggles. What you are seeing is a filtered, edited version of reality. So the next time you find yourself scrolling through your feed, feeling inadequate, remember this: you are comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. It's not a fair comparison, and it's not a game worth playing. Instead, use social media as a tool. Use it to connect with like-minded people, to share your authentic self, to inspire and be inspired. But don't let it dictate your self-worth. Don't let the number of likes on a post determine how you feel about yourself. Now, I want to address something important. Some of you might be thinking, but I have always cared what others think. It's just who I am. I can't change. Let me tell you something. That's not true. It's a belief, not a fact. You see, caring what others think is a learned behavior. We weren't born worrying about other people's opinions. Watch a toddler sometime. They don't care what anyone thinks about their dance moves or their artwork. They are fully, unapologetically themselves. So if we learn to care too much about others' opinions, we can unlearn it too. It takes time, it takes effort, but it's absolutely possible, and it's absolutely worth it. Start small. Practice making decisions based on what you want, not what you think others want from you. It could be as simple as choosing a meal at a restaurant based on what you are craving, not what you think is the right choice. Or speaking up in a meeting when you have an idea, even if you are afraid others might not like it. Each time you do this, you are flexing a muscle. You are teaching your brain that it's safe to be yourself, that the world doesn't end when you prioritize your own thoughts and feelings. Over time, this muscle will get stronger. You will find it easier and easier to live authentically, to make choices based on your own values and desires rather than the imagined judgments of others. One of the biggest reasons we care so much about what others think is our fear of failure. We are afraid of messing up, of looking foolish, of not measuring up. Failure's not just okay, it's necessary. Show me a successful person and I will show you someone who's failed more times than you can count. The difference is, they didn't let those failures define them. They didn't let the fear of what others might think stop them from trying again. Failure is how we learn. It's how we grow. It's how we figure out what works and what doesn't. If you are not failing, you are not pushing yourself hard enough. You are playing it safe, staying in your comfort zone. And let me tell you, nothing remarkable ever came from a comfort zone. So I want you to start reframing failure. Instead of seeing it as something to be avoided at all costs, see it as a stepping stone. See it as valuable data. When you fail, don't beat yourself up. Don't worry about what others might think. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to grow? And remember, the people who judge you for your failures, who laugh at your mistakes, they are not the ones out there trying. They are not the ones taking risks, pushing boundaries, striving for something better. They are the spectators, not the players. And life is too short to worry about the opinions of spectators. Now, I want to circle back to something I mentioned earlier, your values. Understanding and living by your values is crucial to stopping caring what others think. You see, when you're clear on your values, when you know what truly matters to you, other people's opinions start to lose their power. Because you are no longer making decisions based on what others might think, you are making them based on what aligns with your core values. So I want you to take some time to really think about this. What are your values? What principles do you want to live by? Is it honesty, creativity, kindness, adventure? Whatever they are, get clear on them. Write them down. Revisit them regularly. And then start making decisions based on these values. When you are faced with a choice, ask yourself, which option aligns best with my values? Not which option will others approve of, but which option can I feel good about, knowing it's in line with what I believe in? This isn't always easy. Sometimes living by your values means going against the grain. It might mean disappointing people. It might mean being misunderstood. But it also means living a life of integrity, a life that's true to who you are, and there's no greater freedom than that. Many of us care what others think because we equate their approval with success. We think that if others approve of us, of our choices, of our lives, then we must be doing something right. But I want you to consider this. What if your definition of success is different from everyone else's? What if success for you isn't about having the biggest house or the fanciest car or the most prestigious job title? What if success is about being true to yourself, about making a difference in your own unique way, about finding joy and fulfillment in your daily life? Success is not a one-size-fits-all concept. It's deeply personal, and chasing someone else's definition of success is a surefire way to end up feeling unfulfilled, no matter how much you achieve. Define success for yourself. What does a successful life look like to you? Not to your parents, not to society, not to your peers, to you. Get clear on this, and you will find it much easier to stop caring about others' opinions of your choices. Now, I want to address something that might be on some of your minds. You might be thinking, but isn't it selfish to only care about what I think? Shouldn't I consider others? This is a great question, and it gets to the heart of a common misconception. Stopping caring what others think doesn't mean becoming selfish or inconsiderate. It doesn't mean ignoring the feelings of those you care about or disregarding all outside input. What it means is putting your own well-being, your own authenticity, your own dreams at the forefront. It means making decisions based on what's right for you, not on fear of judgment or desire for approval. In fact, when you learn to stop caring so much about others' opinions, you often become more capable of genuinely caring for others. Why? Because you are no longer coming from a place of insecurity or need for validation. You are coming from a place of self-assurance and authenticity. You are able to listen to others more genuinely because you are not constantly worried about how you are being perceived. You are able to give more freely because you are not giving to get approval. You are able to stand up for what's right, even when it's unpopular, because you are no longer controlled by fear of judgment. In short, caring less about others' opinions often leads to being a better friend, partner, colleague, and community member. It allows you to show up as your true self, to give from a place of abundance rather than need. Now, a powerful tool in learning to stop caring what others think, mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being present in the moment, of observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. When it comes to worrying about others' opinions, mindfulness can be a game changer. It allows you to notice when you're getting caught up in what others might think. It gives you the space to pause and ask yourself, is this thought serving me? Is it based in reality, or am I making assumptions? Practicing mindfulness can help you recognize that thoughts about others' opinions are just that. Thoughts. They are not facts. They are often not even accurate reflections of what others are actually thinking. They are just stories we tell ourselves. And once you can see these thoughts for what they are, you can choose whether to buy into them or let them go. You can remind yourself of your values, of your own definition of success, of the life you want to live. It doesn't have to be complicated. Start with just a few minutes a day of sitting quietly and observing your thoughts. Notice when your mind wanders to worries about others' opinions. Don't judge these thoughts. Just observe them. Over time, you will start to see patterns. You will start to recognize the triggers that send you into a spiral of worry about what others think. And as you become more aware, you become more empowered to choose your response. You can choose to let go of those worries and refocus on what truly matters to you. Something that goes hand in hand with stopping caring what others think. Self-confidence. You see, when you are confident in yourself, in your abilities, in your worth, others' opinions naturally hold less sway over you. Confidence, it's not something you were born with. It's not something you either have or you don't. Confidence is a skill, and like any skill, it can be developed and strengthened over time. How do you build confidence? By taking action, by pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, by setting small goals and achieving them. Each time you face a fear, each time you try something new, each time you persist in the face of challenges, you are building your confidence muscle. Maybe it's striking up a conversation with a stranger. Maybe it's trying a new hobby you have always been interested in, but were afraid to try. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting when you'd usually stay quiet. Whatever it is, do it. Then do it again. And again, each time it gets a little easier. Each time you prove to yourself that you are capable, that you can handle challenges, that you can survive even if things don't go perfectly. And as your confidence grows, you will find that the opinions of others start to matter less and less, because you will have something much more powerful to rely on: your own self-belief. Now, I want to address something that might be holding some of you back: the fear of conflict. Many of us care so much about what others think because we are afraid of disagreement, of tension, of potential conflict. Conflict isn't always bad. In fact, it can be a sign of growth, of authenticity, of standing up for what you believe in. If you are never experiencing any conflict, if everyone always agrees with you, if you never ruffle any feathers, are you really living true to yourself? Are you really expressing your authentic thoughts and feelings? I'm not saying you should go out looking for fights, but I am saying that you shouldn't be so afraid of conflict that you compromise your own values and desires. Learning to handle conflict in a healthy way is a crucial life skill. It allows you to express your needs and boundaries. It allows you to have honest, open conversations. It allows you to build deeper, more authentic relationships. So the next time you find yourself holding back to avoid potential conflict, ask yourself, is this really serving me? Is avoiding this short-term discomfort worth the long-term cost to my authenticity and self-respect? Something that's become increasingly relevant in our modern world: the impact of social media on our tendency to care what others think. Social media has given us unprecedented access to the thoughts and opinions of others. With just a few taps on our phones, we can see how many people like our latest post, read comments from strangers about our appearance or our choices, compare our lives to the carefully curated images others present. It's no wonder that in this environment, many of us have become even more concerned with others' opinions. But here's what we need to remember: social media is not real life. The likes and comments, the followers and shares, these are not accurate measures of your worth, your success, or the quality of your life. They are fleeting bits of data, often given without much thought, based on a tiny snippet of your life that you have chosen to share. I challenge you to take a step back from social media. Maybe it's a day, maybe it's a week, maybe it's longer. Use that time to reconnect with yourself, with your real life relationships, with the physical world around you. And when you do use social media, use it intentionally. Share what feels authentic to you, not what you think will get the most likes. Engage in ways that add value to your life and the lives of others, not in ways that leave you feeling drained or insecure. Remember, you are so much more than your social media presence. Your worth cannot be quantified in likes or followers. Your life is rich and complex and beautiful in ways that can never be fully captured in a post or a photo. Something that's crucial in learning to stop caring what others think, developing a strong sense of self. When you know who you are, what you stand for, what you want out of life, others' opinions naturally hold less sway over you. But developing this strong sense of self takes time and effort. It requires self-reflection, self-awareness, and a willingness to be honest with yourself. Start by asking yourself some deep questions. What are your core values? What brings you joy? What are your strengths and weaknesses? What do you want your life to look like in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years? Take time to explore your interests, to try new things, to figure out what resonates with you and what doesn't. Don't be afraid to change your mind, to evolve, to let go of things that no longer serve you. The stronger your sense of self becomes, the less you will feel the need to seek validation from others. Because you will have something much more valuable, your own self-approval. Something that often holds people back from living authentically, the fear of disappointing others, especially those closest to us. Many of us have grown up with certain expectations placed on us by our parents, our communities, our cultures. And the thought of going against these expectations, of potentially disappointing those we care about, can be terrifying. But here's what we need to remember. While the love and support of our loved ones is important, we cannot live our lives solely to meet their expectations. Because at the end of the day, it's your life. You are the one who has to live with the consequences of your choices. If you are constantly making decisions based on what others want for you, rather than what you want for yourself, you are likely to end up feeling unfulfilled and resentful. This doesn't mean you should disregard the feelings of your loved ones entirely, but it does mean having honest conversations. It means explaining your dreams and goals, even if they are different from what others envisioned for you. It means being willing to respectfully disagree. And here's the thing, often when we summon the courage to be true to ourselves, we find that our loved ones are more supportive than we expected. They may not understand at first, but many times they come around when they see how much happier and more fulfilled we are living authentically. Now, I want to talk about something that's essential in learning to stop caring what others think: cultivating self-compassion. Many of us are our own harshest critics. We beat ourselves up over every perceived flaw, every mistake, every deviation from what we think we should be. But this self-criticism often makes us more vulnerable to the opinions of others. Because if we are constantly putting ourselves down, we are more likely to seek validation from outside sources. Self-compassion means treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a good friend. It means recognizing that imperfection is a part of the human experience, that making mistakes doesn't make you a failure, it makes you human. When you can be compassionate with yourself, when you can forgive your own missteps and appreciate your own efforts, you become less dependent on the approval of others. You develop an inner strength that can weather external criticism. The next time you make a mistake or fall short of your own expectations, instead of burying yourself, try speaking to yourself as you would to a friend. Offer yourself words of encouragement and understanding. Remember, you are worthy of your own kindness. You are deserving of your own compassion. And when you can give that to yourself, you will find that the opinions of others lose much of their power over you. Now, as we start to wrap up, I want to leave you with a powerful visualization exercise. I want you to close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself at the end of your life, looking back on the years you have lived. In this vision, imagine that you have lived a life true to yourself, a life where you pursued your dreams, expressed your authentic self, and made choices based on your own values rather than the opinions of others. How does that feel? What does that life look like? What have you accomplished? What risks did you take? What adventures did you have? What impact did you make? Now imagine the alternative. Imagine a life lived always worrying about what others think, always playing it safe, always choosing the path of least resistance and least potential for criticism. How does that feel in comparison? Which life do you want to look back on? At the end of our lives, it's not the opinions of others that will matter. It's whether we can say we lived a life true to ourselves, whether we had the courage to pursue our dreams, whether we made the most of the precious time we were given. So I challenge you, starting today, to begin living as if you are already the person you want to be at the end of your life. Make choices from that place of clarity and purpose. Let go of the need for constant approval and embrace the freedom of living authentically. You have one life. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is your moment, your chance to make your mark on the world in your own unique way. Don't waste it worrying about what others think. Don't let fear of judgment hold you back from your dreams. Don't let the opinions of others drown out the whispers of your own heart. You have within you everything you need to live an extraordinary life. You have the power to define success on your own terms, to pursue your passions, to express your authentic self. It won't always be easy. There will be times when the pull of others' opinions feels strong. There will be moments of doubt, of fear, of uncertainty. But in those moments, I want you to remember this. You are capable of so much more than you can imagine. You have strengths and talents and dreams that are uniquely yours, and the world needs you to express them. So step into your power, embrace your authenticity, let go of the need for constant approval, and start living life on your own terms. Because when you stop caring so much about what others think, you make space for something magical to happen. You make space for your true self to emerge, for your gifts to flourish, for your light to shine. And that is, when you start to not just live, but to thrive. That's when you start to create a life that's not just good, but extraordinary.